Hello everyone and welcome back to Carvenus 14. Now today we're going to be doing a Genshin Impact video. I know it has been a while since we spoke about Genshin Impact because the last Genshin Impact video we made, I made, was the Max Attack Shenhe video where I showed you all my favorite, well not my favorite, but my best Shenhe build for her as a DPS, and I think it worked brilliantly. But today we're not really here to talk about Shenhe. Well, today, kind of, we are. But today I'm going to be talking about the not-so-interesting reaction between Dendro and Cryo. And you might be thinking, well, Venus, what do you mean about the not-so-interesting reaction? And I'm talking about the fact that Cryo and Dendro don't even really work together. That's right. If you guys did watch the teaser for Sumeru, which is this clip that I'm playing right now, you'll see that Dendro seems to have a reaction with Hydro, Pyro, and Electro. But it doesn't seem to have a reaction with Animo, Geo, at least not officially. I'm presuming there is a reaction with those two, which is like Dendro Swirl and Dendro Crystallize. I'm presuming those two will exist, because it's like that for the other reactions. But Cryo just doesn't really seem to have a reaction with Dendro. Now, you guys might be thinking, why is that the case? Now, this is entirely speculative, but I'm thinking it's more of a symbolic thing rather than an actual gameplay thing, because as we all know, in Genshin Impact, obviously, MiHoYo love to add a lot of symbolism, a lot of real life religions and speculations into their games. So yeah, we know they're very huge lore fans in MiHoYo, HoYoverse. It's been a while since I've actually touched Genshin, so yeah, there you go. But yeah, as you guys know, they're very, very huge on their lore and things like that, basically. So looking at it from an actual speculation and lore-wise, I guess, if that's what you can call it, effectively, as we all know, Sumeru is the nation of Dendro, right? And Dendro obviously is the element of nature, of wildlife, of trees, hills, grass, many other things that I can't name on today's video for certain reasons. Yeah. So yeah, it's obviously the element of life, effectively. It's the element of flora, it's the element of fauna, the thing that gives life to the world, basically. Now, obviously, there is something else, which is what is stopping the reaction between Cryo and Dendro. Now, obviously, that's the Cryo element itself. Now, Cryo, unfortunately, isn't really known for creating things. If anything, it's the opposite. It's the reaction, not the reaction, but the element of keeping things frozen in time, slowly withering objects towards their demise, basically giving things a slow death. And obviously, life and death, although they coexist, they're not the same. They have to coexist within the same circle because that's just how things work. But when you put life and death together, you kind of just get nothing, really. I mean, you if anything, it's like moving one step forward and moving one step back. There's not really much difference. If you think about it, if you kill something but then bring it back to life, you're not exactly changing its state because it was originally alive before. The only thing you're doing is just adding a process to it only to revert it back to its original state. So, if you think about it in that regard, it kind of makes sense as to why Cryo and Dendro don't really have a reaction, because they just don't mix. They can coexist, but they cannot mix. And if they do, it just doesn't really make any sense. Move one step forward only to move one step back, or move one step back to only go back to the same position you were in before you moved back, if that makes sense. So, if you guys think of it that way, it kind of makes sense as for why Dendro doesn't have an actual reaction with Cryo. Now, what does this actually mean for Cryo, the Cryo element? I will probably talk about the Cryo element's state, or more specifically, the Cryo element state in Sumeru, and the different things that may affect the Cryo element. But it's basically safe to say that in the actual meta for Genshin Impact, after Sumeru's released, Cryo may go down a little bit. It might, because the new Dendro reactions are coming out, which do seem to be more powerful than the reactions that we have, like than half of the reactions we've seen in the game right now. Dendro might actually have a new place ahead of Cryo because of the really good reactions it has with Hydro, as well as Electro, as well as Pyro. So yeah, because of that, Cryo's place in the actual element tier list might actually be going further down than it was, because right now, at least in my opinion, I think Cryo is like one of the second or the third best elements in the game. I think it might drop down to like 4th or 5th, so it is definitely going, it might actually take a huge hit. Cryo will, it might actually be one of the weakest elements in in Sumeru once it comes out. But like I said, that's a topic for another video. I have been Carvenus14 and still am, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.